Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I got to work on my singing, but welcome back to the fourth installment of the Sports and Movies podcast. I'm your host, Corey. There's a lot of stuff that we need to cover. There's been so much exciting news in the world of sports and movies, so let's get right into it. First, let me start off with the Ime Udoka situation in Boston. For those of you who may not be familiar, maybe you live at Bikini Bottom underneath a rock like Patrick. I don't know. But Ime Udoka is the head coach of the Boston Celtics. He led the Boston Celtics to the NBA championship. They lost to the Warriors last season. In his first season as head coach, he's a former player, and he was engaged apparently to Nia Long. They haven't released many details about the situation. All that we really know is that he's suspended for the year due to his consensual relationship with a female staffer, which is against the rules. Rules are rules. But I'll reserve judgment until we hear more about it. But suspending him for the season, in my opinion, is not something that was appropriate action. The interim new head coach is would be the youngest coach in NBA currently. He played guard at West Virginia. I actually played against him in college, so I know him as a player, but I don't know him, as a coach. He coached pretty much, small ball until he got this assistant coaching job with Boston. But they're in the midst of potentially a repeat to return to the championship, although I don't think they will win. I don't think now's the time to be switching to like an unknown coach. So this move, I hope we get more details about it, but to me, it doesn't make much sense as we know about it right now. The limited information that we have available to us right now. So let me talk about the Warriors a little bit, just because that's who the Celtics faced in the championship. In my way too early pick, I like the Warriors to repeat. James Wiseman will be returning. Their biggest area of opportunity, the Warriors, was their size, and obviously he helps them with that. So they're my pick to repeat, even if the Celtics don't come out of the East, which I don't think they will. Let me move on to another related topic of controversy, the Brett Favre situation. Obviously, he's a retired athlete, so it doesn't garner as much attention as active athletes, but it's still a big story. So Brett Favre allegedly, we have to say allegedly here, stole funds from Mississippi State welfare. Obviously, this is deplorable. This is a millionaire, ex-high-profile athlete who stole welfare money from one of the poorest states with a huge minority population. It just looks really bad. It is really bad. So we'll see what happens, how this unfolds. But I think the big story here is that this really isn't getting the media coverage that you think it would. We got the Ime Udoka scandal where it's an affair and it's bad, but it's not as bad as, stealing welfare funds from poor people. And that's getting all the coverage, and this isn't getting any coverage. And people are speculating as to why. It's probably because he's, a retired athlete, but still, it should, and he's not active. It should get more attention, though. I didn't want to spend too much on it because it's still pending allegations, and we don't know what has happened yet. So we'll see. Next episode, I'll definitely cover it more. Let's shift to the World Cup. I'm currently wearing my Real Madrid jersey. That's my favorite club football team. They're in Madrid, Spain, playing La Liga, the Spanish league. But they have a few top players who will be playing in this World Cup next month in Qatar. Most notably, Vinicius Jr., Brazilian, Rodrigo, Brazilian. They will be combining with Neymar of PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. He's a high-profile player. Brazil has a lot of firepower up front. They are my pick to win this World Cup. If they don't win, I think France. Obviously, they have Mbappe. He's the best player in the world, in my opinion. They have Paul Pogba playing in the midfield. So I think that France also has a great shot. But we'll see. Those are my two picks to win the World Cup. Not much controversy there. Messi needs to win one, and Argentina has a stacked team. So we will see how he performs this World Cup. I feel like this is a huge measuring stick for him on his career. Ronaldo doesn't have as much pressure to win a World Cup because Portugal doesn't have as good of a team as Argentina is stacked. So, we'll see. Moving on, switching sports to Major League Baseball. It's October after all. That's what this episode is about, Mr. October. October is the month where dreams are made and dreams are destroyed, right? So I want to talk about the Mets. The Mets obviously have a disaster on their hands, with the Braves, taking that series. And now looks like they're going to take the NL East, right? Before the series, the Mets had a pretty good chance to take the division. And now it looks like the World Series champion Braves are going to take it. Miami's not going to sweep them, right? We're still going to make the playoffs, but I wanted to win the division, right? Good news is I heard Ohtani of the Angels has a 1-year deal coming up, and the Mets are the only team that's not on his no trade clause. So he's willing to come to the Mets, probably because our owner has deep pockets. But nonetheless, that'd be great for us. I'm disappointed in DeGrom and Scherzer. We didn't do what we were supposed to do. But still a great season, and it's not over yet. I still think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. There's no surprise there. They're running away with it. They've, the best record in baseball. I just think they're really good. Shout out to Mookie, right? Also, I'm not one of those Mets fans that's, a Yankee hater. So I support all the New York teams. And I just want to say congrats to Aaron Judge, right? I think the Yankees have the same record as the Mets right now. This is hovering around 100 wins. But that 60-second homer is big. And a lot of these pitchers aren't pitching to Aaron Judge. They need to pitch to Aaron Judge. Let him, go for the record. He's doing it legitimately. He's not on steroids. I hope they've tested him, pretty substantially. So I hope he continues to make noise with the home runs. So shout out to him. Moving to the NFL, the big story, and I feel like the only story at this point, is how the Ravens are treating Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a top 5 quarterback in this league. He's already a league MVP. At number 1, I have Mahomes. Number 2, I have Josh Allen. Number 3, I have Aaron Rodgers. And number 4 should be Lamar Jackson. He's that explosive. He's that dynamic. He's got a big arm. They try to categorize him as a running back. No, pay the man. All right? They're going to have to write a bigger check because he's going to have a historic season. He's going to stay healthy the whole season. He might win MVP. And they're going to have to write even a bigger check. All guaranteed money. That's what he wants. All guaranteed money. And he deserves every penny of it. Tyreek Hill to Miami. That's not good. I'm a Jets fan. That's not good for us because Miami's, looking like they're going to win the division. But look at Tua. He's out. Tua, he's out. But, I'm glad that he's okay and he's cleared, I think, to play. So we'll see how he responds. Obviously, the Dolphins can't do anything without him. But, the addition with Tyreek Hill, we see like that experiment is really working out. And they're probably going to, the Bills, but the Jets definitely aren't going to win the division. So that's bad, from a fan perspective. But I'm excited for the division. It's looking good. The other team that's surprising, but not that surprising, is the Eagles. Everybody knew Jalen Hurts was big time in college when he was at Alabama before he left. So I don't know what this shock is about. He's a above average QB, and the Eagles have won a Super Bowl fairly recently. So I don't see what the shock is about. They're a good team. They have the best record in the NFL right now, but I'm not really that surprised about it. I might have had other teams picked, up until this point, but I'm not that surprised about it. They're a solid team. And you know, another, if it's in Philly, it's another local team, so I support them too. That's it for all the sports. Let's make this pivot to the movies. You know, one of the most exciting segments. I know some of the audience is not that big on sports and they're more excited about movies, so let's get into it. Most recently, I saw two movies. One was streaming on Disney Plus. That would, of course, be the iconic Hocus Pocus 2. That was a disappointment, to say the least. I watched it back to back with the original. The original was much better film. This one was a decent storyline, but just I didn't like it. It wasn't good. Very disappointing in my opinion. I would have hoped for better. Speaking of sequels that weren't very good, Buzz. I know it's not a traditional sequel because it's not a Toy Story film, but I watched on Disney Plus. I watched the Toy Story. I mean, the Buzz movie, and that sucked. It was trash. So I'm very glad that I did not see that one in theaters, because I would have been pissed. I heard the Mission Impossible, although I did not see Mission Impossible. Obviously, it broke records, box office records, and it's supposed to be really good. I never saw the first Top Gun, and I just wasn't interested in seeing this one. So that's one that I'll catch when it's streaming. It might be streaming right now. But the one film that I do have positive reviews about, I want to talk about Idris Elba in this movie Beast. It's a typical animal stalker film, like an Anaconda, Lake Placid, with the stalker crocodile in the lake. That was a good movie, and so I liked those two. This one was just as good, if not better than that. Once again, it's called Beast. It's streaming right now, maybe on Peacock or Netflix, something like that. Check it out because it's really good. I don't want to ruin it for you. Definitely go see it. Idris Elba obviously is a great actor, but it's a very entertaining film. You know, obviously it's about a killer lion. No plot twist there. Movies that I'm looking forward to. Halloween ends. Why? Because the franchise needs to end, but it's appropriate because you know, it's October, Halloween's coming up, and somehow I'm always entertained by these movies. They keep coming out with more, and I'm always watching them, and I always like them. And I don't think that this will be any different, but I want to see the Jamie Lee Curtis era end. So you know, hopefully Halloween ends. Although I don't know how they're gonna kill Mike Myers because he's like immortal, but it's very appropriately titled because the film, the franchise, or at least this rendition of it needs to end. I don't want to see any more like this, although I probably will be entertained and would watch if they had another one. Just because it's that iconic. But so that comes out on the 14th. And then Black Adam, starring The Rock. Doesn't look good to me, but I'm a fan of The Rock. He's another one of those actors that I'll watch pretty much anything he's in. He typically pairs up with Kevin Hart, and they make a good pair. You know, the Jumanji movie wasn't particularly good, but I was entertained by it because of those two. So I expect the same thing out of Black Adam. It could be really, really awful, really corny, but you know, I'm optimistic for it. But the two big films that I'm most excited for are one, Wakanda Forever, and two, Avatar Way of the Water. Both those films will be smash box office hits. No surprise there because the originals, the first installments were high box office value movies. But they will be very entertaining, long awaited. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, somebody that I know personally. I met him. He's a great guy, and sad to see him die, pass away. And I just want to see how Ryan Coogler, the director, another young, very successful director that I know personally, I want to see how he ties it in with Black Panther, and obviously, you know, his sister was probably going to take over, but very much interested in seeing how that goes. Very early award season pick is Viola Davis. I want to talk about Viola Davis for The Woman King. Phenomenal performance, very high rated film, critically acclaimed. I expect her to clean up this award season for The Woman King. And you can quote me there because I know that Viola Davis, she's a heavyweight, and she did not disappoint in this role. So I'm very much anticipating her to clean up this award season. She's my big winner pick. And that's closing it out. Thank you for tuning in to this installment of the Sports and Movies podcast. I'm going to be more frequent with the World Cup. I'm going to be a huge soccer fan. So that and with basketball, getting into full swing, I'll be releasing more episodes. And some of my most anticipated films are releasing. So I'll be talking about those and the acting performances in those films as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the YouTube channel. Thank you for being a supporter of Crafty Productions. Signing off.